So if you're watching this, you've probably gone through your fair share of disappointments and hard times with women and facing rejection. And I've been there myself for years. I was struggling to get dates, struggling to sleep with girls, and just not really see much attraction. And being raised by a single mother, I definitely lacked any sort of guidance in terms of how to actually behave with women. So I wanted to share with you today one thing that really changed my mindset and really fast-tracked my progress. And I think it's going to save you a lot of trouble and really accelerate your own progress. By the way, I'm creating a dating mastery course for young men, particularly for those raised without father figures, in order to help them improve their dating lives and take it to where they want it to be. So if you're keen on that, then the link is going to be in the description of this video. There's a pre-sale currently on, so it's the cheapest it's ever going to be if you pre-order it now. So this mindset shift is what I like to call outcome independence. Essentially, what we mean is we want you to be as unaffected as possible by the way an interaction or a relationship goes with a woman as possible. You know how we say something is independent of another thing? That means that that thing has no impact on the initial thing whatsoever. So the goal is whether or not you get a date, or you manage to sleep with a girl on the date, or you get her phone number, or she rejects you, you're not going to be fazed by that, and you're going to be able to continue with your life without being hung up and suffering from it. And this is a superpower that very few men get to possess. The reason it's so useful is because you're not going to have that burnout, that mental fatigue from going through rejection, from cold approaching, or from online dating, which you inevitably will have to go through. You know, you're going to get rejected by girls. I've been rejected by hundreds of girls, and it's just going to happen no matter how attractive you are as a guy. So if you don't get that burnout, that drain on your, on your health bar, then you're going to be able to keep going, and it's not going to impact other areas of your life like your work, your fitness, your social life. And that's very powerful. It's much more sustainable going about dating in this way. Okay, so you might be thinking, fine, that's all good, but how do I actually develop this? Because being rejected by a girl still sucks, right? Of course. I've got two strategies for you. The first is developing what's called an abundance mentality. An abundance mentality is when you realize and you fully believe that there is effectively an infinite number of attractive women out there, women that you would be into and that you would happily date. Now, this goes back to the cliche saying of there's plenty of fish in the sea, but if you've been told that, and I've heard it in the past, your mind rationally understands that, yeah, okay, there's so many girls out there, this one's not as special as I think she is. But it still fucking hurts when you lose that one girl, right? So it's like your brain just doesn't cooperate. It doesn't respond emotionally to what you rationally believe to be true. So what I found is the only way is to actually internalize it, to experience it for yourself, to experience that abundance. And the way you can do this is by having as many channels as possible for meeting new women. So that means creating profiles on dating apps. It means going out cold approaching. It means going out to venues, speaking to women. Maybe you have women in your social circle or in your university that you can speak to. Really just immersing yourself and realizing that, yeah, there are plenty of women. And then your mind starts to actually believe it. And then you become less needy, less clingy. And it's something that's particularly important for men raised by single moms like myself, because our minds are just naturally more preoccupied with love and affection. We have more of that feminine energy in us, right? So we kind of get hung up on that one girl, and that's affecting our ability to actually be outcome independent. So exposing yourself to women is absolutely massive. That's the first strategy. The second strategy is to expand your sphere of influence. So what do I mean by that? Your sphere of influence is essentially the set of things in your life that are within your control and things that you have going on that are fulfilling for you. So for example, my sphere of influence will include the gym. I like my weightlifting. It will include martial arts. I've been training Muay Thai for the past 3 years. It will include seeing my circle of friends. We like to go out and go for some nice food and go for a walk, go for coffee, whatever. It includes my career, my job. It includes my family. I like to see my relatives, and I also like to travel. So, booking trips, these are all within my sphere of control. That means that if, for example, you have a date lined up with a girl and she flakes on you last minute, think of a guy who has a very small sphere of control. He doesn't have much going on in his life. He's going to be sat at home, maybe depressed, hung up on her, suffering, just being quite negative, right? And then think of a guy with a wide sphere of control. He might see that text from the girl saying, oh, I'm sorry, I can't make it tonight. And think, oh, well, that's fine. I've actually got some really close friends I've been meaning to see. They'll be delighted that I'm free and I can go and see them. We can go out for some food, for some drinks, whatever. Or, oh, fine, I can go to my martial arts class now. So he's not going to be nearly as affected as the guy who doesn't have much going on in his life. He's going to be more outcome independent, and that means that he's not going to be afraid of asking out another girl, knowing that she might also flake, because it just affects him less. So I'd encourage you to think about the things you have going on in your life, and if you feel like that you're leading a boring life, which by the way is quite unattractive to women, then think about things you can pick up. You know, can you go to a new sports club? Can you make some friends somewhere? Can you go to some networking events? Can you pick up reading? Can you pick up fitness? Really have a think about what you could actually do on the side, and not just have women as the core of your existence. So that's it for today. Let me know if you've tried any of these strategies, or if you end up trying them after the video, how they're working out for you. And once again, the course link is going to be in the description for the pre-sale. I'll see you in the next video.